Thanks, John.
Yep, thanks, John. Good afternoon, everyone. I've seen quite a few of you today looking to go to New Zealand, and I guess we are here today to kind of go through the visa side of things. Most importantly, talk about the lifestyle in New Zealand and the opportunities that are happening. I think for all of you, I think you should be very excited. 2013 is New Zealand's year, and I think it's only going to get better. So, we're very, very excited, and we'll talk through some of the developments that have happened in the last probably 48 hours, Joel, for us, and the opportunities. So, I'm here with Joel Gabbidy. Joel has come over from New Zealand, and we realise that the whole job side of things is very important for people to get a job, number one, and also to get the visa. So we've got a strategic relationship with Joel, and the thing is that you've got two Kiwis here based in the UK to help you with this move. So Joel, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Bore. As Bore explained, I am a Kiwi. I relocated here recently from Christchurch in New Zealand. I'm guessing all of you are aware about what's happened in Christchurch. Unfortunately, our home city, Bore and his family from Christchurch as well, was devastated in a sequence of earthquakes that occurred in the last 18 months. There has been a high level of damage sustained to the city. However, thankfully the earth has stopped moving, and now we are moving into a rebuild stage, and that's one of the aspects of the seminar we're going to give today. I am the Director of New Zealand Skills in Demand. I will speak more about what New Zealand Skills in Demand does shortly, but I'll just hand over to Bore to explain what he does.
So I see a couple of clients here today. So I'm the Director of Migration Associates, and we're based in Surrey. We actually have 3 licensed immigration advisors, and we specialise only in New Zealand. Some of you will be receiving free visa evaluations, and that's the most important thing at the minute that you should be considering. Can I make this happen? What do I need to do? For some people, if you're a nurse, you've got to get registration. If you're an accountant, you've got to get signed up with the New Zealand Institute of Chartered Accountants. So everyone's going to have a different path in the same visa category. And I think for me, part of these shows, it's really important for us to connect to our clients. I've spent most of my time talking about New Zealand today. The visa process is really straightforward in most cases, but we're able to give you that insight into what it's like to live in New Zealand, and some of the bits and pieces like medicals and the education system. Just a quick show of hands. How many people have actually been to New Zealand? Okay, so there's a big team that's here, and obviously you know what the lifestyle is. How many people haven't? Okay, so guys, if you do anything from today, jump on the plane, book a flight with Singapore Airlines, because they're one of the best airlines. I don't get a commission from that, but they're a really good airline to fly with. But go and actually see what the lifestyle's like. And I've lived here for 6 years. I've got 2 children now. We're out of here in 2 years because we're just out of here. But every time I land in Christchurch, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. These shows in the morning, they bang on about this lifestyle, and you won't experience that until you actually land in Christchurch or Auckland or wherever that may be, to kind of land and see the fresh air, space. You can't really explain it. So go over. Not only should you go to find out what the lifestyle's like, go meet some Kiwis, go see what their lifestyle is all about, and also have an opportunity to meet some employers. And that's going to be a very key thing to help with that job search process. So for all of you guys that have been there, you know what the New Zealand lifestyle is like. I don't need to talk about for those who haven't. Get over there, and I'm sure once you get over here, back over here, you'll be keen to kind of get back over there. So the program, the immigration program, you're looking at around very small compared to the Australian side of things, We're looking at attracting around 50,000, 55,000 per annum. It's becoming very, very job-led, and hence the reason why Joel's here in his remit. If it's not job-led, it's really based on those who've got qualifications and work experience in an area of absolute skill shortage. So, engineers, ICT people, people in the medical profession, and even some of those guys are finding it very hard to get through without needing a job offer. So we can speak to you personally and how you guys kind of relate to that as far as your eligibility, and that's something that's very, very key. Most of the people that I'm looking at assisting aren't going to New Zealand to become millionaires. Okay? They're going for a lifestyle. It's very lifestyle driven, a lifestyle for their children, a great education system. I mean, the fees over here for university are $9,000. I hate to think what they are per annum. Okay? I hate to think what they are like in 2 or 3 or 4 years' time. Competition for education and health services is at an all-time high. So your population here is driving these service sectors to kind of really perform below par. Whereas New Zealand, we're a small country, and all you need to do is have a look at some of the pictures. It's all about the outdoor lifestyle and the work-life balance. So the visa side of things, just like everything, can be a very bureaucratic process, but we'll make that a lot easier for you. If you're looking to go to New Zealand, the main application that we'd be looking to set you down under is skilled migrant category. It's permanent residency. In most cases, you'll need a job offer, and that will probably take 2 to 3 months once you've got the job offer. If you get a job offer, your employer may require you to be out there within 6 weeks, and that's where we would apply for a work visa alongside the residency visa. So we would lodge both of them. You get the work visa, you go over to New Zealand, and then once you're over there 2 months later, you'll get your residency visa. So again, we would go through that with you. And if you're under 31, you're a young bucks, there is the working holiday visa. So it's really important to understand which visa you're going on. If you're a family, we would always advise to go down the residency route. It's the most safest way. You'll be able to pack up your house, sell your house with a lot of certainty that you're going to get permanent residency, which is very, very important.
Okay, thanks, Bore. So as I said before, I'm the director of a company called New Zealand Skills in Demand. Just to put what I do into context, New Zealand currently has the largest skills shortage that it's ever experienced, and a lot of New Zealand employers are now looking to international people to fill some of the skills gaps. And so what I essentially do is I act as an agent for New Zealand employers and recruiters and manage their international recruitment program. I'll give you some examples of how this plays out in reality shortly. Essentially, I'm not a recruiter, rather I am a candidate matcher. My background is a legal background. I run the United Kingdom office. We also have an office that is manned full-time in Christchurch. In addition to the search activities that we provide, we offer a comprehensive relocation service. Obviously, the job is one aspect of things, the visa is another, and then you've got all the subsidiary issues that need to be dealt with to ensure that all of your ducks are in a row before you leave the UK. We also offer a CV writing service. I've spoken to some of you today about that. You can't underestimate how important it is to have a good CV. Go home tonight, look at your CV and ask yourself honestly, is this formatted in a way that it can be easily read? Have I got too much content in there? Have I got too little? But by all means, swing by the stand and have a chat to me about this, because there is certainly certain things that New Zealand employers want to see in a CV, and that does differ from the UK and elsewhere. Okay, so the Canterbury earthquake, as I said before, I'm from Christchurch. That photograph there is taken about 30 seconds after a magnitude 6.3 aftershock. that occurred on 22 February 2011. Sadly, 182 people perished in that earthquake. I was situated about there. So my own personal experience was a harrowing one, and I won't deny that it was very frightening being in the city for a period of time. Thankfully, as I said before, the ground has stopped moving, and so we are now moving into the rebuild stage and the recovery stage.
Just a bit before you go, Joe. We've got family living in Christchurch at the minute, and life is just like normal. So this whole CBD is empty. It's all been demolished, and it's waiting for a rebuild. So, as far as safety goes, there's no concerns whatsoever. The grounds remain as built, and it's business as usual. So, it is safe. And if it wasn't safe, those 300,000 people wouldn't be living in Christchurch itself. So if you're worried about safety, it's not a big concern if things have settled down, I can assure you that.
Yeah, that's right. There are large tracts of the city which remain are unaffected. However, in saying that, to give you some perspective on the extent of the damage, 100,000 homes in the city were damaged, and there's only 400,000 people in the city, so pretty much everyone has had their house which has been damaged. And when I say damaged, it could be a few hairline cracks and some tiles in the kitchen, some full-scale demolition level destruction. In the CBD, which is essentially this part of the city here, 1,500 buildings are being demolished or have been demolished. That's 80% of the commercial buildings in the central business district. We also had a huge problem with liquefaction, which is essentially when soil compacts, when there's seismic activity, and there's this, well, it's hard to explain what it is, but it's sand-like mud that comes to the surface, and unfortunately it got into people's drain pipes, into their homes, into buildings. It also meant that buildings subsided and fell off their foundations and things like that. So really quite nasty. Okay, so this is one of the reasons you're probably here today, is to get an understanding of how you can use the Christchurch rebuild as a way to get out to New Zealand. The Christchurch itself has been dubbed the largest building site in the world. Excitingly, the New Zealand government has recently released a blueprint which has identified 15 anchor projects for the central city that they want to have completed by 2017. So it's quite a bold plan for the recovery of the central city. The current focus is on the horizontal infrastructure, so we're talking about the roads, or the piping under the roads. We've had to have a return to overhead cabling. It's just ensuring that the infrastructure of the city's back up and running. That's the focus before they start looking at rebuilding commercial buildings. As you're probably aware, skilled migrants are critical to the rebuild. New Zealand is not a big place. We have a population of 4.5 million people. We would need to double our labour force in order to complete the projects that are being proposed. So we need to make up the gap somewhere, and so what the New Zealand government has identified is that we need to find skilled people from elsewhere to join the rebuild effort. So if you're sitting there and thinking I can help with that, it is a unique opportunity to be involved with something. It's not often that you get to start a new city from scratch. It's something that will certainly look good on your CV, and it's something very different.
Yeah, I've lived in Christchurch for quite a long time. It's a very conservative city, but it's going to be absolutely amazing in 10 or 15 years' time. It's going to be just up to date. It's going to be modern. And there's going to be a kind of metropolitan and a cosmopolitan feel in the fact that there's going to be a lot of cultures from all around the world who actually initially had to be involved in this rebuild. So I'm actually getting excited. I know it's 10, 15 years away. I mean, Joel had a stat there, 1,500 commercial buildings, so 365 days in a year times that by 5, that's 1,500. There's no way a commercial building is going to be built every day for that 5 years. So you can see how long it's going to prolong. Okay. In fact, some people will be sitting on jobs for a long time to get consent, etc. So the projected time is around 10 to 15 years, but I think it's going to be more than that. And certainly for a guy that's got 2 young children, I can't wait for them to kind of really experience the new Christchurch. So we're very, very excited. Still very early stages. We were able on Thursday night to help 6 carpenters get job offers in Christchurch with an immediate start of around January. So we're starting to see the movement coming through from the employers and everyone starting to gear up. And we are finding that the people that we see in the UK are very highly skilled. Okay, and you've got a really good relationship with New Zealand with the rugby and the cricket, and we can assimilate quite well. And I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you and your family to get through. And when we talk about opportunities, we're not limiting this just to construction. Okay, so we've got a recruiter coming out that we're working with, and we've been briefed to help them out 50 accountants, okay, who need to push the paperwork for the 50 billion that's going to go into this. So and then on top of that, you've got admin people. So if your partner's the main applicant and you do admin work, there's going to be plenty of admin work, because that's what happens when this whole thing starts coming through. So if you're not construction, it doesn't mean that those opportunities won't be there. They will be there, and they'll be there for quite a long time.
Thanks, Roy. So just further to those points, obviously when you're planning a project of the scale of the rebuild, things do take time. So now we had our last cluster of aftershocks in late December 2011. So we're now approaching 12 months of relative calm. And obviously there are also insurance issues which need to be dealt with. However, we're hearing there's positive feedback, and as we said at the beginning, 2013 is going to be a huge year, and probably 2014 even bigger. Okay, so just really quickly, our involvement in the rebuild, both Migration Associates and New Zealand Skills in Demand have strong New Zealand links. We have an office in Christchurch. We are regularly meeting with Immigration New Zealand in Christchurch, and now we are advising them on trends that we are seeing in order for your applications to be processed in a timely manner in order for you to meet employers' expectations and the like. So all of this is going on behind the scenes in anticipation of the large volume of visas that are going to have to be processed as part of this. We're meeting with government ministers. We're meeting with SERA, which is the Canterbury Earthquake Authority, the government authority that's been set up to deal with the earthquakes. Just going quickly into some employment opportunities. Now we're talking more generally in New Zealand. So what this list illustrates is the breadth of the opportunities in New Zealand. Just because you're not a non-construction worker, please don't feel that there aren't opportunities for you. We talked about accountants. There's massive opportunities for software developers, people in ICT, anyone in IT generally. Obviously project managers and carpenters. Bore explained before, was currently recruiting a large amount of carpenters for Christchurch. We've just had 6 who have just been made job offers. We're now looking at the next 6 to 12, even probably 18 to go and start early in next year, or even the end of this year. Okay, so just quickly bouncing back to Christchurch. Why Christchurch? Bore reflected on it before. There is massive opportunities for Christchurch. If you're prepared to go there now and endure the next couple of years of work being completed and the rebuild happening, then at the end of it you're going to have a brand new city, which is going to be fantastic. Space, this is the big thing we talked about with people. New Zealand, we're not an overpopulated place. Our roads aren't congested like in Australia. The climate is far more temperate. We don't have the extreme heat. You're not going to be expected to work in 40 degree temperatures. And of course, we are home to the Canterbury Crusaders, arguably the best rugby team in the world. Okay, so just some case studies. Just really quickly, the top three just illustrate that there are opportunities beyond Christchurch. Project manager in Christchurch, this is a chap we met at a Down Under Live, and we were able to successfully place him with CityCare, which is a large infrastructure company. We've just had a guy who is a project manager and a guy who is an IT financial analyst. Both have been offered roles in Auckland. Both of those roles have been permanent full-time roles, which allowed them to obtain residency. So that's just another point you need to be, when you're talking to employers or looking for jobs, stay away from those who are offering 12 months and then, we'll look at it from there. You want to be getting a permanent full-time contract straight off the bat, because that will allow you to get residency, and that protects you. That puts certainty on that, because the last thing you want is to get out to New Zealand, sell up over here, transfer all your money, and then 12 months down the track they say, oh sorry, the work's dried up, and then suddenly you're screwed because your visa is contingent on that particular job. You have to pack up and move back home. And so we definitely encourage the employers to offer full-time contracts and permanent contracts, and we encourage you to be asking that of the employer.